What's up, spectators? Welcome back to another episode of Ace Attorney 6. It looks like we're about to begin the trial, finally, after 3 videos of investigations. I'm fine. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine. Is Apollo okay? He's been muttering to himself all morning. He's been like that since yesterday. Guess the pressure of today's trial is getting to him. Poor Polly. He's really tearing himself up over all this. Get it together, Apollo. Yikes, Athena, when did you get here? Try to relax a little bit, will you? You're getting yourself way too worked up. Yeah, but I'm alright. I'm fine. You know, I did a little digging on this Nayuta Sadmati guy. He's apparently not your run-of-the-mill prosecutor. Oh yeah? What'd you find out? Well, they say he wields an incredible power to accurately read a trial's karma and its ultimate fate. What is that supposed to mean? I don't have all the details, but apparently he can foresee how the arguments will go and even lead to his opposition. So the defense basically ends up going in whatever direction he has in his head. Man, this isn't gonna be a cakewalk if that's true. Emma did say she'd talk to him for us, though. Here's hoping that went well. In any case, it sounds like he's going to keep us on our toes. That's why I know you're ready. Why I know I can leave Trucy in the office to you. I believe in you, Apollo. Mr. Wright's putting his faith in me. I can't let him down now. I'm fine. Okay, shut up. Shut up, you! There he goes again. It's almost like he's chanting a prayer. I'm Apollo Justice and blah blah blah. If you say so, Apollo. The trial will start momentarily. Is the defense ready? Yes! We're good! I'm just gonna replace it. I'm gonna say we're good. Because I'm tired of saying that. Trucy's fate and the fate of the agency rest on this trial. This is it, Justice! If ever there was a time to shine, it's now. Court is now in session for the trial of Trucy Wright. The defense is ready, Your Honor. And the prosecution? Prosecutor Sadmati? 1,000 pardons. It was rude of me to keep you waiting. I was praying for the victim. Praying, yes, I see. You're a Kurainist monk, correct, prosecutor? Yes, that is correct. I am but a lowly monk from the kingdom of Kurain. I beg in advance for the forgiveness and kind patience of everyone here in this court. I am unfamiliar with the proceedings of this country, and may make many blunders. He seems like such a gentle-mannered soul, doesn't he? I wonder if Emma had a chance to talk with him about Trucy. Now then, Prosecutor Sadmati, your opening statement, if you would. Certainly. In the name of the Holy Mother, I vow to guide the victim's soul to a land of eternal peace known as the Twilight Realm. Let the last rites of the victim begin. He's really been making a name for himself, apparently, but that nickname, Last Rites Prosecutor, I wonder how that'll come into play today. The incident took place in the middle of a spectacular magic show. The accused performed a magic trick in which she thrust a sword into a coffin. A coffin from which the body of the victim then spilled out, dead from a fatal stabbing. The victim's name was Man of Mystery. Man of Mystery? I like it. Otherwise known as the Great Mysterious. His blood was found on the sword that was used during the magic trick. So his death was just an unfortunate accident. It is only natural for one to assume as such, Your Honor. However, it was no mere accident, but rather a homicide. The prosecution's position is thus, that this was a murder made to look like an accident. I see. And you believe this crime was committed by the defendant? After a thorough consideration of all possible scenarios, I, unfortunately, had no other choice but to conclude as much. So that's how it's going to be, huh? I guess Emma couldn't convince him after all. Very well. And now let us hear from the defense. Naturally, we maintain that the defendant is innocent, Your Honor. If the defense wouldn't mind, could you please explain your reasoning? My reasoning? Well, I would have to say that my main reason is because I believe in the defendant. I see. So you find it difficult to come up with anything more concrete than that, do you? What a fine demonstration of the fact that you are indeed a lawyer of putrid mind. Putrid mind? Sodmati? Excuse me! Ooh, you know some ninjutsu. I don't approve of you and your ninjutsus. If you don't mind my axing, prosecutor, what was that you were just chanting? A sutra of the Holy Mother that guides those of tainted soul towards enlightenment. It is a kura-inist incantation to awaken the foolish from their fruitless slumber. Fitting for a lawyer who indulges in such fancy as the innocence of the accused. I see. So basically you're asking the defense to get real. Allow me these few words, defense. It is my duty as a monk to punish sinners, and to guide victims' souls to the Twilight Realm. Should you show repentance and admit to the accused's guilt now, no harm will come to you. But should you interfere with my sacred last rites for the victim, then I shall cast you down into the pit of hell, along with Trucy Wright. Now wait just 1 minute here. Putrid, pit of hell, is that any way to address someone in a court of law? Prosecutor Sodmati, that may be the way you conduct trials in Kurain. But I would appreciate it if you would refrain from such charged language here. Your Honor, that was but a Kurainist sermon for those who have strayed from the path. Harsh words are often necessary to admonish contemptible deviants who cannot see reason. Oh, I see. I didn't realize. Okay. I guess they really do hate defense attorneys in Kurain, huh? Even still, that was way over the top as far as verbal abuse goes. And the trial's only just begun. Well, defense, I suppose the way a prosecutor does things varies by country. Why don't we look at this as cross-cultural exchange and try to be open-minded about it? What? Bailiff, please bring in the first witness. Uh-oh. I thought she said goodbye to the snackoos. Detective Skye, the courtroom's no place for gorging yourself. What's wrong with having a little snack? Girls gotta eat, right? She seems a little stressed out. Detective Skye, your testimony, please. Yeah, about that. I just want to state for the record that I believe Trucy Wright is innocent. Whoa, you're not allowed to just say that. Come on now, this is court. Detective Skye, this path you seek to follow is misguided. Giving the wrongdoer false hope will only deepen her despair in the end. But let it go and move on. Acts which go against your duty will earn you divine punishment from the Holy Mother. Fine. I don't know about the divine parts, but I get the punishment bit loud and clear. Yeah, those salary deductions. I guess Emma got assigned tons of paperwork or something for sticking up for Trucy. She and Prosecutor Sadmati don't seem to get along very well, do they? Shall we continue? The prosecution contends that the accused had a clear motive. The evidence, if you would, Detective Skye. All right. Please take a look at this poster. It's a Troop Gramarye poster from 13 years ago. Is it just me, or is it a little different from the one in Miss Wright's dressing room? This is a revised version of that poster. This one says, cancelled under Mr. Rios. That's right. Mr. Rios left the troop after the first version of the poster was printed. Take a look at Mr. Rios' right forearm, near his elbow. See the big scar there? He apparently got that when he made a mistake while practicing a magic trick. That's quite a scar. Because of the accident, Magnifi Gramarye concluded Mr. Rios was too unskilled. Just before the show was to open, Magnifi announced Mr. Rios wouldn't be appearing. But in defiance of Magnifi's decision, Mr. Rios tried to go on stage anyway. This in turn caused Magnifi to oust Mr. Rios from the troupe on the spot. He kicked Mr. Rios out? That seems rather extreme. Did he really have to go that far? When it came to magic, Troop Gramarye was so passionate. Alright, here is one hypothesis. Hypothesis! The Mr. Rios who was murdered is not the real Mr. Rios. In fact, Mr. Rios is Robert Downey Jr. Johnny Depp. That's who Mr. Rios is, trying to get revenge. Hypothesis. We'll see if that's true later on. Or should I say extreme about it that caused problems for me from them to time to... What the hell? Or should I say extreme about it that it caused problems for them from time to time? Yes, they even caused this court a mountain of trouble with their extreme antics. And now the troupe's successor has committed a murder. It seems the troupe's rare talent was inherited by the right person after all. A putrid talent for criminality. I'm gonna drink some water. You sound rather extreme yourself, prosecutor. Criminals with impure souls do not deserve sympathy, Your Honor. As I was saying, after his expulsion, Mr. Rios apparently went on to hold a grudge against the troupe. He would tell those close to him, "I'll get my revenge on Troop Gramarye Sunday." Revenge? That certainly sounds antagonistic. And then his chance for revenge finally came. If you would be so kind, Detective Skye. I guess I don't have a choice, do I? The victim planned to get his revenge on Troop Gramarye during Trucy's magic show. Mr. Rios was going to first steal the Gramarye notebook from the defendant. He then intended to reveal the secrets behind their magic tricks during the show. That was the victim's plan for revenge, and while he did in fact steal the notebook, the defendant murdered him before he had a chance to reveal the secrets. By the time the accused had discovered the notebook's theft, it was too late. Her only option was to kill Mr. Rios, and make it look like an accident.
Objection!
That's nothing but conjecture.
Objection!
The victim's assistant, Bonnie DeFam, gave the police a statement. She testified that just before the start of the show, Mr. Rios said, "I'm going to reveal all of Troop Grammary's secrets on stage today." What? Well, that isn't exactly a great starting point for a rebuttal, is it? You're telling me. Allow me to give you one piece of advice, defense. And what's that? Let it go and move on. Excuse me? Helping a sinner will only sully your own soul. One possessed of an unclean soul will burn in the flames of hell, and then be ever burdened with that sin in their next life. But I don't believe in that sort of thing. Besides, I have no intention of giving up. Oh, Holy Mother, grant me the strength to deal with this putrid lawyer. All actions have consequences, and yours will surely earn you the honor of being a mere stink bug at best in your next life. A stink bug! Now then, Mr. Justice, your cross-examination, please. The victim planned to get his revenge on Troop Grammarly during Trucy's magic show.
Hold it!
Revenge after all this time. It's been 13 years already. Why now? I know, right? I thought that was pretty sketchy myself. I mean, wouldn't he have done it a long time ago if he was gonna do it? Detective Skye, self-indulgent outbursts such as those will earn you a divine punishment. In the form of a salary evaluation. That's what divine punishment means? Let the detective have her snack. This humble servant of the Holy Mother shall explain. Over a decade ago, Troop Grammarly was at the height of their popularity. But then their reputation declined, and they had all but faded from public memory. Until recently, that is, when Phoenix Wright sought to recapture their former glory. The defendant? And at such a young age, too. How impressive. Yes, the accused's skill at magic is undeniably impressive. If she hadn't fallen onto the path of sin, she would have had a bright future ahead of her. It's always sad to see such promising young potential go to waste. Now then, Detective Skye, how did Mr. Rios plan to get his revenge? And please put down those snackoos before you continue with your testimony. Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Rios was going to first steal the Grammarly notebook from the defendant.
Hold it!
What evidence do you have that Mr. Rios actually stole the notebook? Well, you see... Whenever you're ready, Detective. Fret not, Detective Skye, you have nothing to repent for. You should be proud of the fine forensic discovery that you made. And what did she discover specifically? Detective Skye identified a certain set of fingerprints on the notebook. Upon further inspection, she determined that they belonged to Mr. Rios. The detective found the fingerprints entirely of her own volition. For that, I must say, well done, Detective Skye. Get a little too addicted to using your precious white powder, did you, Emma? If you know what I mean. Cocaine! I'd ask you to explain. Exactly how Mr. Rios intended to use the notebook to exact his revenge. Alright, well, first he stole the notebook. He then intended to reveal the secrets behind their magic tricks during the show.
Hold it!
I'm gonna reveal all of Troop Grammary's secrets on stage today. That's what Mr. Rias himself said, right? Right, but he didn't exactly specify which Grammary secrets he was talking about. But the prosecution thinks he was referring to the secrets behind Troop Grammary's magic, right? That is the prosecution's assertion. When the accused realized that Mr. Rias was to reveal her family's most closely guarded secrets, she naturally panicked. So basically, Trucy's notebook was hiding in Mr. Rias' things because he had stolen it himself. I see. Truly a motive that only a magician could have. Yes, that's what the prosecution believes anyway. That was the victim's plan for revenge, and while he did in fact steal the notebook.
Hold it!
Do you really believe what you're saying, Detective Skye? Do you really think Miss Wright killed Mr. Rias to stop him from getting his revenge? Of course I don't think that. The Trucy we know would never. Keep your private considerations separate from your public duty. I warned you about this very thing before the trial began, did I not, Detective Skye? Yes, you did. Please recite my exact words to you. Emma Skye, you're a detective, first and foremost, not the accused's friend. Remember your duty and fulfill it faithfully. Excellent. So you do remember what I said to you. Your devotion to your work will be rewarded, for the Holy Mother sees all. This Holy Mother's no scientific concept I've ever heard of. Those two really don't get along, do they? Well, science and religion go together about as well as oil and water. As I was saying, the defendant murdered him before he had a chance to reveal the secrets.
Hold it!
I'm sorry, but what exactly is the basis for claiming it was murder? Beats me. The basis is beats me? You'll have to ask Prosecutor Sadmati over there, because he hasn't told me his reasoning either. Detective Skye, your feeding of information to the defense has not gone unnoticed by my eyes. The bad karma of acts which go against your duty will impinge upon you in your next life. But even before that, it may impinge upon your job in the form of a transfer. Please don't get me kicked out of the forensics unit. Anything but that. She's really been risking everything for us. Well, Prosecutor Sadmati, what are your grounds for claiming homicide? It was the luminous tape in the understage passage. I realized that it had been moved. Moved so that Mr. Rias would climb up into the downstage coffin by mistake. What? Mr. Rias, who was waiting in the understage passage, was supposed to have used the upstage ladder shown here on the left. He was to climb up into the coffin that had been set up in the backstage area. After being turned into a stuffed dragon during Act 1, Mr. Rias was supposed to come back to life and emerge from that coffin. But the luminous tape had been moved to mark the downstage ladder. So the victim climbed up into the coffin on the stage itself by mistake. The very same coffin the accused thrust her sword into. And you have proof that it was my client who moved the tape. But of course, Detective Skye. Oh, that's right. I identified the defendant's fingerprints on the luminous tape. You what? He actually had proof. Well, defense, are you finally ready to let it all go and move on? Absolutely not. Detective, please add the information about the prints on the tape to your testimony. The defendant's prints were on the tape. I guess she must have moved it during the show.
Hold it!
What made you think to check the luminous tape for prints? Well, I bet it was detective's intuition. I dusted not just the tape, but just about everywhere for fingerprints. Oh? I dusted pretty much every single surface in the theater. I mean, it was so nice to be able to dust for prints without anybody getting mad at me. It's great that you're enthusiastic, Emma, but there is such a thing as too enthusiastic. The tape was moved. To guide Mr. Rios in the coffin that was downstage. If that's true, it does sound like a murder rather than an accident. It certainly doesn't help that Trucy's prints are on the tape. I wish I knew what sound would even be appropriate to make in this situation. Now that is very interesting. Oops. They're on the tape. I guess she must have moved it during the show. Now what do I present here? Harness. Oh, hold on. Alright, so this is the stage diagram. Let me see. Nope. Bonnie's script, the fire trick, was cancelled due to the incident. Mr. Rios transforms into a dragon. Trucy's escape. Crime photo. Fingerprint results. This is tricky. I could try presenting Trucy's statement.
Objection!
That's not right. The witness's statement contradicts this piece of evidence. No, it does not. Oh, jeez. Alright, I got it. Oh! Gloves! She had gloves! That's right. Okay, hold on. It was right. Okay, hold on. Where was it? There it is!
Objection!
It was right under my nose. I'm sorry, Detective Skye, but there's a flaw in your testimony. Really? The prosecution is claiming that Miss Wright moved the understage tape during the show in order to guide the victim into the coffin downstage. But it doesn't make sense that she would leave prints on the tape at the time. It doesn't? Please consider the fingerprinting results of the main coffin, which shows that not one of my client's fingerprints was found on or in it. That's true. We didn't find any of her prints on that coffin. I think you've realized what the flaw in your testimony is. Claiming Miss Wright left prints on the tape during the show is inconsistent with the facts. Because she was wearing gloves during the show. She must have left the prints sometime before the show started. In other words, her prints do not prove she moved the tape to mislead the victim. The prosecution's investigation was insufficient. Oh my! But on a personal level, I'm very happy about that. Well, Prosecutor Sadmati, if the defense's argument is true, then you have no evidence the defendant moved the tape to deceive the victim. I see. Apparently, the defense is more intelligent than I had thought. More than a stink bug, at any rate. You can bump me up to at least a stag beetle now, can't you? Would that really be any better? Of course! Way better! Stag beetles are cool, with those huge mandibles of theirs. If the defense wishes to be promoted to a stag beetle, then answer me this question. Alright, shoot. Even with no evidence that the accused moved the tape to misguide the victim, the victim still climbed the ladder using the tape as a guide. And entered the coffin on the stage. The accused then thrust her sword into said coffin with the victim in it. So what you're saying is, the fact remains that the victim was stabbed to death, right? Precisely. However, this does drastically change one aspect of this case. If the accused did not lead the victim into the coffin on purpose, then it means the victim's death could have been accidental. If it was indeed an accident, the defense can argue that it was involuntary manslaughter. I see. If it was involuntary manslaughter, they could plead extenuating circumstances, and the severity of the crime could be mitigated. Defense, if you believe the accused did not murder the victim, then do you argue that it was an accident? This is it, the all-important question. The defense argues that Mr. Rios' death was murder. The defense maintains that the defendant is entirely innocent. We believe that it wasn't an accident, but murder. And what's more, we believe it was committed by a third party. As in, the true culprit is someone else? That is quite a brazen claim to make, and one wholly thought without grounds. Wholly without grounds. Your voice is as loud as your suit, and your mind echoes just as loudly in emptiness. Surely you were but a loud red pepper in your previous life. I've been demoted to a vegetable? I didn't know a person could be reincarnated as a non-sentient plant. In any case, I do have grounds to make this claim. Let us hear this reasoning of yours, then. Alright, but before I give it, there is one question that we need to address. If the victim was killed by some third party, then the sword the defendant thrust into the coffin wasn't the cause of death. If that's the case, then how did we wind up with a dead body inside the coffin? A very good question. Now let's hear your opinion, Mr. Justice. How did the victim's body wind up inside the coffin? He was killed understage, I guess. Or maybe he was killed in the coffin. Shit! I can see it being a coffin, maybe a different coffin. But like, remember his fingerprints are inside? Oh, shoot. I don't think he was killed understage. Maybe he was. What if the victim was killed under the stage before being put up into the coffin? In other words, what if the victim was already dead in the coffin from the get-go? I see. In that case, the defendant's sword wouldn't have been the cause of death. How do you respond, Sadam Bobby? That is the third time. The third time of what? Yeah! What the heck is this? Ow! Oh, awesome. He does got some hoodoo voodoo. What do you think you're doing? Even the merciful Holy Mother loses patience if she is struck 3 times. Since you never learn, you needed to be punished. Why don't you let me worry about what I need to know, Data? It is what you deserve for interfering with my sacred last rites for the victim. You are a brainless lawyer chasing phantoms. You know nothing. Let this humble servant of the Holy Mother give you an edifying sermon. A sermon? Now? You know, I feel like we're gonna get into a whole thing here, and it's already been getting close to 40 minutes, so why don't we end this video here, and leave the rest for tomorrow. So stay tuned for the next episode, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye!